You wouldn't know it by looking at them. No uniforms, no flags, no formal headquarters. But in California's prison system, there exists a secret government of violence. It's called the Mexican Mafia. They don't need weapons to kill. They don't need to be in the same room to command. All they need is a single word, Greenlight, and someone dies. This is the true story of how La M, the most feared gang in California, controls life and death inside and outside the prison walls. It starts with a list. A green light list. If your name is on it, you're already dead. The Mexican Mafia, or La M, was formed in the late 1950s at the Duell Vocational Institution in Tracy, California. At the time, prison was chaotic. Latino inmates were scattered, disorganized, and vulnerable to attack from other racial groups and gangs. One inmate, Luis Huerobuff Flores, decided that needed to change. Inspired by military structures and the Italian Mafia, he founded La M, or the M, the 13th letter of the alphabet. The goal was simple: unite Latino inmates under one flag. But what began as protection quickly evolved into domination. La M's power grew fast. Within a few years, they weren't just defending Mexican-American inmates, they were taxing them, controlling them, using them as soldiers. Soon, they began referring to themselves as the shot callers, the authority of the yard. The prison system didn't know it yet, but a criminal empire had been born. To understand the Mexican Mafia, you have to understand how deep its control runs. Unlike street gangs that operate openly, La M functions like a silent hand. Its members, often locked in solitary confinement, command power far beyond their physical reach. Their rules are iron. If you're Latino and you enter a California prison, you fall under La M's jurisdiction. It doesn't matter if you're from a small-time neighborhood clique or a major gang. Inside, everyone follows orders. Those who refuse, they're greenlighted. That word, greenlight, means execution, not by a leader, not by a jury, but by anyone loyal to La M. Greenlighted inmates are often stabbed to death in broad daylight, during recreation, in crowded cell blocks, sometimes even while handcuffed. And here's the terrifying part. Many of those orders are given by men who haven't touched free soil in decades. How? Through smuggled notes called kites, through phones hidden inside body cavities, through corrupt staff, through coded letters. A general can sit alone in a supermax cell and orchestrate gang warfare like a chess game. And it doesn't stop at the prison gates. One of the most dangerous evolutions of La M was its ability to extend control to the streets. Sureño gangs, thousands strong, across Southern California, from East LA to San Diego, all answer to La M when it matters most. Street gangs pay taxes to La M for selling drugs on prison turf or operating under the Sureño banner. Those who don't pay get green-lighted. You can be on the streets in a totally different city and still be targeted for assassination by a prison gang. That's the terrifying efficiency of La M's system. One of the most infamous examples is the case of Joe Pegleg Morgan. Though not Mexican by blood, he was accepted as a full-fledged EME member due to his intelligence and ruthlessness. Pegleg, fluent in Spanish and strategic by nature, helped transform La M from a prison gang into an organized criminal syndicate. Under his leadership, La M began coordinating drug deals with the Mexican cartels, sending orders to street gangs across the state, and creating a command structure that mirrored military precision. In one instance, a series of hits ordered by La M resulted in multiple coordinated murders across Los Angeles, all traced back to a single prison cell. And yet, most Californians had never heard of them. The secrecy of La M is part of its power. Its members don't brag on social media, they don't show their faces, they move silently, and they expect obedience. Being a member of La M is for life. There is no retirement, there is no exit, and betrayal is punishable by death. To even be considered for membership, you must be Mexican American, sponsored by an existing member, and proven through acts of extreme violence, usually murder. The process is simple. You kill for La M, and if you're trusted, you're brought in. Once you're in, the rules change. You no longer belong to your old gang. You belong to the Brotherhood. You answer to La M. You enforce their will. You kill when they say kill. But what happens when a member turns? In 1995, a former MA member named Rene Boxer Enriquez did the unthinkable. He flipped. Boxer had spent years as a killer and organizer for La MA. But after facing a life sentence and reflecting on the damage he'd done, he chose to cooperate with authorities. His testimony cracked open the secret world of the Mexican Mafia for the first time. Through Enriquez, law enforcement learned about the Greenlight system, the extortion rackets, the smuggled communications, and the hierarchy. And even with all that, La M didn't fall. The organization has proven incredibly resilient. New members are made. Older members give orders from the SHU. Security housing units designed for the most dangerous inmates. In fact, many correctional officers privately admit La M often runs the yards better than the prison system itself. There's less racial conflict, fewer riots, more discipline. Because when you disobey a CO, you get written up. When you disobey La MA, you die. The U.S. government has tried to dismantle La MA through RICO indictments, gang sweeps, surveillance, and high-security isolation. But the very structure of La M, its decentralization, its cultural control over Sureño gangs, and its brutal enforcement methods make it nearly indestructible. Even younger inmates, born decades after La M's formation, still follow its rules. They tattoo the number 13 to show allegiance. They pay taxes. They carry out hits. Because saying no isn't an option. Greenlight isn't a rumor. It's not an empty threat. It's a mechanism of control backed by 60 years of fear. The Greenlight system has destroyed lives, fractured communities, and kept California's prisons in a permanent state of tension. Some believe the only way to defeat La MA is to reform the entire prison system. Others believe it's too late, that La MA has become part of the system itself. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. In the most dangerous prisons in California, one gang still holds the ultimate power over life and death, and all it takes is a word. Greenlight. Thanks for watching. If you found this documentary powerful, subscribe for more stories exposing hidden power structures behind bars and beyond. And remember, the most dangerous gangs aren't always the loudest, but they are always listening.